We have $200 trillion right now tied up in cash, stocks, bonds, and gold around the world, and all four of them are overvalued. I don't know anybody under age 40 that is even looking in the direction of either of those four options right now. If 2% of the $200 trillion that is right now in cash, stocks, bonds, and gold ends up in cryptocurrency, you're looking at a $4 trillion valuation, 8 times where we are today. If the bulls on Bitcoin are correct, this will become the most valuable currency in the world within 10 years, and the price will be $300,000. It will then have the same valuation as the Chinese currency and coincidentally gold, which has approximately the same valuation. Some people say, how can I value Bitcoin the same way I'm valuing gold? And it's very simple. I don't know how much gold there is in the ground. I know how much Bitcoin there is, and I also know that in a couple of years, there will be hundreds of millions of people around the world trying to get their hands on a few million Bitcoin. And this mind-boggling supply-demand imbalance is what will probably drive the price of this deep into the 6 figures. A lot of people missed out on Amazon 20 years ago. This is your second shot. And if you decide to stay on the sidelines, you have nobody to blame but yourselves. The Bitcoin chart may look the same way as well. And we're on the far left end of this chart right now. We're just getting started. I can take what I learned in the 20 years in the stock market and easily apply that to what's going on right now. I'm seeing the same thing right now that I saw 20 years ago. In my opinion, we are very close to having a watershed moment in this industry that is going to send Bitcoin and the coin market cap where I think it's going in the next year or two. And it will probably come from a batch of ETFs that hit Wall Street that will allow the average person to shift part of their portfolio into crypto without worrying about an exchange getting hacked, without having to try and figure out how to deal with a Trezor device. The watershed moment that I'm looking for in the next year is going to be similar to what you saw with the Netscape browser 22 years ago. We went from 1 million users on the internet to 10 million. Then the Netscape browser came out, and we went to 1 billion users overnight. That red circle in the lower left is where we are right now in crypto, and that is where we are on the Netscape chart 20 years ago. We're in the second inning of a 9-inning ball game right now. There is a lot of risk right now, but the upside is 10 or 20 times from the current price. If you want to wait until all of the obstacles and uncertainty is removed, it's going to cost you triple or quadruple to buy a ticket into this arena. You won't have any risk, but you will not have the upside either. And that's the same dilemma that biotech investors have when they have to decide between going into a biotech name that is in phase 1 versus a name that is in phase 2 or phase 3. There are no shortage of headlines coming out. I disregard all of them. All it is noise. Every day there are dozens of headlines, and many of them are scary on the surface, but I am not paying attention to any of them. This is a supply-demand imbalance unlike anything I've ever seen in my life, and there's going to be hundreds of millions of people trying to get their hands on a few million Bitcoin. This is all noise that scared people out of an opportunity of a lifetime a couple of weeks ago when these headlines came out, and we jumped already 75% since the low point of $6,000. I want to close my presentation going back to what I started with. I am nauseated and sick to my stomach by some of the things I see in this country. I've been in 75 countries around the world. I've been in 38 of the states in this country. When I went to junior high school, they taught me that slavery was abolished in this country in 1863, I think was the date. What nobody talks about is that after slavery was abolished, we sent publicly traded companies like Starbucks and Freeport-McMoRan to Africa, and we raped an entire continent. Everything that is in their continent has been stripped out of the ground. Coffee, tea, diamonds, gold, crude oil. And that is why we have a situation today where the top 1% has more wealth, 100 times more wealth, than the bottom 50% of the world population. And that is why millionaire and billionaire shareholders of publicly traded companies that are raping Africa right now and have been doing so for decades, they are sitting in their yachts and on their in their mansions and on their yachts, while the people in Africa are living on $3 a day. Nobody deserves to be living on less than $3 a day, while others are sipping champagne and eating caviar on their yachts. Enough is enough already.